Welcome to another episode of the Offer Letter Canada Spotlight, the series that's all about giving job seekers space to talk about their experience in their own words beyond their resume and their title. Today, I'm joined with Gustavo Gomez. Gustavo, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Brian. Happy to be here.
So, Gustavo, for everybody meeting for the first time, can you tell us a little bit about your background and a little bit about who you are as well?
Yeah, so I grew up in Naperville, Illinois. My dad used to take me to his handyman jobs, and 16, started working as a busboy. Realized I didn't want to do that for the rest of my life, so I enlisted in the United States Marine Corps at 18 as a field radio operator. About a year in, was attached to the 24th Marine Expeditionary Unit, and we were basically a forward operating group in around the Atlantic Ocean and above Africa in the Mediterranean Sea. We were there in case we needed to get troops on the ground. I was part of the command element S6, which is the communications department in the headquarters group. So we were in charge of communications around our ships and talking to people on land. After my time in the military, I came back to Illinois, started working with my older brother and my father, building sports fields, and that was a lot of fun. Got to travel a little bit, working in some pretty harsh weather conditions too. So decided to use my GI Bill to find a career path that was more intellectual work than physical work. So moved to Wisconsin. I signed up for a nursing degree, and I worked with patients of all ages, a male and female, taking vitals, assessing the patients, handing out medications, and documenting it all. During that time, I needed some extra supplemental income, so I was working in a bar. Got to deal with a lot of customers face to face, different stages of intoxication, a lot of de-escalation of situations, but I was looking for something more long term. So after nursing, I decided to make a pivot and continue working in a technical field. So I chose networking. I moved to Kenosha. I signed up for my cloud computing degree, and I've been working in networking, or had been studying networking, moving into cloud computing and looking to get into security management, cloud security management. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Gustavo, thank you for the service to us as well. So, your time in the Marines. I mean, there's a lot that you have done within your time in the Marines as well. So, if you don't mind, let's kind of start there and talk a little bit about your time out there. So, you did spend some time. You spent 4 years as a field radio operator. What kind of systems were you responsible for during that time?
So we worked with Chef, VHF, and UHF systems. When I was in port, I guess, in barracks, we were mostly handheld backpack radio systems, worked with some vehicle systems. But for about 2 years, we did some training with ship to shore systems. And so I couldn't really tell you the names of any of these. They got some technical names, and it was quite a while ago. But during 2017, when the hurricanes hit Haiti and Puerto Rico, my team was part of the operations, the humanitarian aid missions out there. So basically just maintaining the communication network between the people on the boat, the higher ups, and the people on shore.
I mean, that's a pretty that those equipment. To be honest, I probably have never seen them in my hands ever,
Mhm.
but they're all very complicated and secure. I would assume. So,
Yes.
kind of
Did a lot
just by
of
the way they.
training with the Navy as well. And so, I mean, a lot of the times it was really old equipment.
So, talk about a little bit for us and for everybody who is not who doesn't have a military background. But what does that entail in using this equipment, handling it? Obviously, you're maintaining communications between, like for the example that you mentioned in the hurricane relief, right? You're maintaining communications with people, civilians, and as well as the military, I would assume.
Yes.
And so, what does that entail for like somebody in the layman's terms and people that are in kind of listening and don't know kind of what that looks like for anybody else?
So I was in what's called the LFOC, the Landing Force Operations Center. And so you gotta learn to use the equipment a lot, have backups on hand. You got two people manning the radio, one communicating and the other writing everything down in case the first missed it. We can't have too many people at the radio because it's a busy area, especially during operations. But you have people on standby say, hey, the network's down. We're not able to communicate. We got to troubleshoot, figure out if it's the components that are going bad, if it's the weather, if it's we're facing the wrong direction, if it's us, if it's them. But you always have to be ready to make any changes in real time. So you got to be on your P's and Q's. You got to be set. There's no room for error really out there, especially when you're dealing with lives.
And I want to draw a little bit of kind of a line here to something that you're studying right now, right? So
Mhm.
a lot of higher managers don't really immediately realize how this can be directly correlated to somebody in networking and cloud computing. In the point that you just said, if there's an issue, you have to start figuring out the root cause immediately and trying to figure that out. Have you noticed that correlation in your studies at Western Governors University to kind of some of the stuff that you've been doing that you have done in the military as well?
Yeah, so working with the communications department, I got to work alongside the data networking guys as well. And so I was part of the team sent on the ship first to set up the infrastructure, running wires and getting the devices to where they needed to be. So I got to see a lot of that. And it's similar with the nursing or with the networking because I've been working with virtual machines. And if something doesn't work, I got to go through all the settings. I got to see if it's my device that is not working properly or if it's just some configurations. But you still have to see where the issue is. Is it not turning on? Is it not just not making the connection? Can these two machines talk, but they can't talk to machine number three? Like you gotta find where the root problem is and be able to make the changes necessary.
And in your time in the Marines, you were also promoted to corporal, if I remember I saw that correctly.
Yes.
So you led a group of 25 Marines. And what did leadership mean to you in that environment?
And then being available for your junior Marines as having a little bit more of a leadership role, you had to know what you were talking about. Okay. Along with having a technical understanding of the radio systems and how to maintain the connection, you need to understand the junior Marines. It's a very difficult setting. You're on the water for weeks, if not months at a time. No connection to the outside world, no social media, hardly talking to your family back home. And so there are different difficult, stressful moments where the junior Marines might not know exactly what to do. So you got to be there, ready, understand each person's strengths and weaknesses, and kind of read them, see it in their face. So he might need a little bit of help here, and being able to give directions, not tell him exactly what to do and how to do it, but give him a boost. Hey, what do you think we should be doing? What do you think will work? And then guiding them towards the correct answer.
I like that response because what you're doing there and kind of in your mentality as well is you're hoping to guide them to the right answer, right? And like you're making them think critically about what the next step should be and where they should be as well. So instead of just telling them, hey, you should be doing this, you're helping them
Right.
use their own decision making skills to get to that point.
And it definitely does depend. If we're in the middle of operations, we might not have that time or that ability to be waiting on someone to figure it out. Someone will have to step in and be like, all right, let's just get this done. And we'll note it down for during training. We could go over this again. So you have to be able to keep an eye on all of it and kind of remember what we need to work on, what we're good at, so you can move forward and be an effective group.
Yeah, and it makes sense, right? Because in those high stress environments, they're not going to, people are not going to have the answers immediately, right? And they might just have to be told, right? But if you can, in those non high stress environments, train them to where they should be, right? They can start using some of that decision making skills. So they don't always have to be told immediately. Could you imagine if you had to tell each 20 or every 20, the 25 people different things every time, right?
Yeah,
It would not be good for you. It wouldn't be good for them. And it would just become more stressful for everybody.
definitely get better at explaining.
Yeah, very good point. So you're pursuing your undergraduate degree. You spent some time pursuing a nursing degree too. So once you left the military, you started working on your nursing degree. What made you decide to go towards nursing and then ultimately change to go into cloud computing?
Yes. Growing up, I never really had one career path, and I was like, this is it. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I knew I needed to find a way to be productive and to make myself useful. So that shows by going into the military. They taught me so much. And when I got out, I initially wanted to go into the military as some sort of medic, a combat medic or something. But the Marine Corps didn't have that option. They said you
Interesting.
could join the Navy, you can join the Army, but the Marine Corps doesn't have medics. And so I chose to be a Marine first. And so after my time in the military, I had the opportunity to use my GI Bill to try out the nursing field. And, I loved it. I loved learning the biology, the systems, and how the human body and the brain work, but it does take a toll on you in the end. In a long-term career, I knew I was going to burn out eventually. And so the patients, they deserve someone that's going to be there 24/7. They know that's what they're going to do, and that's their whole life choice.
Why did you choose cloud computing?
Cloud. I knew I liked working with machines. My computer is my favorite tool. I use it for everything from the military studying to the nursing studying. I like gaming and watching movies, so I figured might as well dig deep into that, understand the fundamentals of how everything works, how these signals get from one place to another, and allow all that to function. And so I heard it was a good career path for uh to have work-life balance and being part of that backbone, the communication side of it. It was an easy choice.
So at what point do you realize a network might go down at 2 a.m. and then you might have to get up for that?
I'm no stranger to late nights.
I assume the Marines taught you some of those. Nice.
Yeah, but for the most part, as long as if I could find a job that allows me to work from home, that would be ideal, even if it's a hybrid job. But yeah, something that allows me to come home every night and, spend some more time with the family. Because that's something that the military didn't really allow for. Production, I was traveling, so I spent little time at home. And nursing, it took a different toll. And so I knew I would either have to focus on the patients or family. You can't really perform at 100% in both areas 24/7. Currently working on my Network Plus certification from CompTIA. I hear that there's a lot of opportunity in cloud. It's the next, maybe not the next big thing, but it's a big environment in the technology industry right now. And just understanding that every company is basically using computers nowadays. If you're not using cloud or have an online presence at all, then you're probably going to be shut out. You're going to disappear. So being able to maintain that is important to me. Working with the virtual machines and seeing that connection from one computer to the other one, it gets me excited, especially after a couple hours of troubleshooting. It's just one number is off or something. I'm like, I got it. Figured it out. But yeah, definitely excited to get that Network Plus certification. Next comes the Security Plus and just continue to build on that foundational knowledge.
And something I wanted to quickly touch on, and before we hit the record button in the green room, you had made a comment of one of the things that you really like about networking and cloud is basically everything runs on it, right? It's from
Yes.
we were talking about like Grubhub and Uber and all these different apps that you use day to day. Even the platform that we're talking on today, right? It's all based on cloud computing and how basically our world runs on it. And it's one of the things that you saw and you really liked kind of where the future of this was going to.
Yes, absolutely. I've also gotten my AWS cloud practitioner certification. So just having the ability to learn a little bit about everything in computers, it excites me. I'm really a generalist at heart. I like to know a little bit about everything. And so if I could start with AWS, eventually learn Azure and Google Cloud, I mean, it opens up more doors for me.
You've earned your certification for AWS. You're currently working on other certifications. How do you approach learning new technical concepts?
I watch a lot of video, and so I'll watch a full. So how I'm approaching the networking certification is that I'll watch a full course and then see what all the hot topics are, the main concepts. And then I'll start reading and breaking it down. How does it function? Why does the network function this way? And over time, just repetition, repetition, I get it to stick. Get some hands-on learning with the labs and some of the virtual environments that I've created. It definitely helps ingrain that into your mind.
Yeah, I like how you just kind of immerse yourself in that topic, right? You say you watch a video, then you start breaking it down piece by piece, and really kind of helping to learn the fundamentals of it as well.
Yes. And Quizlet too is always a big help. Even when I can't be exactly at my computer watching, doing all the research, I always got my phone on me. So I'm on Quizlet going through port numbers and protocols and whatever else needs to get looked at. I use Spotify and listen to podcasts, Cyberwire, and so that kind of keeps me updated. Every portion of my life, I've kind of put the learning of networks and IT into it.
And a quick plug, if anybody is listening, feel free to like and subscribe. This is going to be broadcast on Spotify, on Apple, and on YouTube as well. So for anybody that is interested, like and follow this.
Hit the like button.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
And kind of talking about this too, you've worked on. You kind of mentioned it early on. You've worked in a multitude of different industries. You've worked in as a bartender. You've worked in construction. I think you also were working as going through or you were going through your degrees at the same time while you were doing this. What has that really taught you about you and personally your own work ethic and your ability to adapt, working these different jobs and taking on so much?
It's definitely boosted my confidence every time I get another exam passed or another certification. Going through the military and finishing boot camp is definitely like, okay, I know I can do these jobs, but is this something that I'm going to be able to do efficiently for the next 20 years, 30 years, of a career? And so definitely my confidence has grown. I get a lot of knowledge from I got a lot of knowledge from each of these different jobs, and it's just figuring out what I want to do for those next 20 years. And networking gives me a way to continue learning and help as many people as possible. If I build a stable, secure, efficient network, I could provide jobs for hundreds, if not thousands of people.
Yeah, I mean, that is insane to think about, right? Just if like the network that you might be responsible for one day is going to connect and potentially employ thousands of people. It's insane to think about that. I've never actually thought
Yeah,
about all
absolutely.
that is built within networks.
Yeah, definitely you get that sense of purpose from being able to provide that for a business. I assume since I haven't exactly worked in the networking aspect of it with the communications, the radio, being able to keep that communication window open, make sure everything's getting taken care of, the people on the ground are able to communicate back to headquarters. It's a good feeling hearing like the operation's finished. Well done, everybody. The training is paid off.
Right now, for everybody listening, what are you looking for? What's next for you? You're obviously still in school. Are you looking for opportunities currently? Are you looking for opportunities post graduation? Kind of what are you looking for?
I'd say a little bit of both. In the early stages, I've been sending out a few resumes, mainly looking at what each job is looking for and trying to tailor my education path to to the corporate and I guess corporate side of it, the industry. As I was telling you earlier, once I get this networking certification, then I'll feel more capable of creating these networks and hopefully find a job where I could get some hands-on, some real world experience. The labs can only get you so far. So yeah, I'm hoping to get my foot in the door at a company and build along with them. If I could find something during while I'm in school, that's
And
fantastic. Yeah.
so, as you're looking, if a hiring manager is listening right now to this, what would you say that your top three qualities are that you would want a manager or recruiter to know about you based on your experience within the Marines, some of the work that you've done within construction, bartending, and then as well as your educational? Like, what would you say are your top three qualities that you bring?
I am disciplined when I set my mind to something, I do it. I think that shows in the military experience and completing all my exams, passing my exams. What else? I This is a hard one. Even though I've thought about this question, I never know exactly how to phrase it. I'm good with people. I've had a lot of experience breaking complex scenarios down to maybe someone that's not in that job field. So the radio communications, being able to break it down to the higher ups that are more operations, talking to the patients about what's going on with their health and when they don't really have that healthcare background, that medical background. And I'm a hard worker. I'm always looking for a way to improve. I'm always looking for a way to help other people. If I see someone is struggling with something and I'm not doing anything, I'll step in and offer a helping hand.
So, if I got this right, discipline, your communication, and your communication style, your ability to be direct, and as well as I don't want to say dumb down, but to speak at somebody what um in a non technical sense, and then also you're hardworking. Did I get that right?
Yes, yes.
And before we start trying to wrap up this conversation, is there anything that we didn't touch on that you want to make sure that we did talk about?
Nothing I could think of.
And then, Gustavo, if there's hiring managers or recruiters that want to get in touch with you, or even just people in the cloud computing space that are hoping to just talk to you about future opportunities, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
I definitely say LinkedIn. My email's on there as well. I check my email pretty frequently,
And I'll make sure I tag your LinkedIn in the show notes for anybody listening, so they can just quickly just click that as well.
please.
Think Thank you, Gustavo, for your time today and sharing your experience. And if you're a hiring manager, recruiter, leader, or someone who just wants to talk to Gustavo, just feel free to click his LinkedIn in the show notes and feel free to reach out to him. Gustavo, thank you for your time and walking us through your experience as well.
Absolutely. Thank you, Brian. Happy New Year's to you and everyone listening.
Happy New Year.